This is the Brewing Coder, and welcome to the very first weekly update. Kind of like SNL's weekend update, but not funny. That's right, I am basically not funny. What we're going to do, hopefully, is release this weekly update that's going to talk about a bunch of new stuff. What's going on in the modded Minecraft community. And sometimes there's a lot going on, sometimes there ain't a lot going on. But you know what? We're going to cover it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to cover not just new mods. Some new mods we got going on here. We got new mods for 1.8.9, or at least mods that are seeing a lot of activity. We have some of the community streamers that are out there that are doing some cool stuff this week. We got, we'll do some tips and tricks, not this weekend, but this week, because we got a lot to cover because it's our first episode, but we're going to do tips and tricks, builds, talk about some of the community builds. We're going to talk about some of the new mod packs, some of the new players out there in the game. And I can't guarantee I'm going to cover everything. If you feel left out, I don't care. Send me a note. Tell me, hey, I'm doing this. Pay attention. I will. Because there's so many people out there doing videos about Minecraft. Everybody wants to do a video. I want to do a video. Hell, I'm doing a video. Alright. So, everybody knows that 1.8.9 Forge is out there. Forge is heavy. Lex Manos and the team are doing a ton of work, especially after PAX South. So, things are flying hot and heavy in the Forge world. No sign yet of 1.9 or what's going to be changed to 1.9, and that is huge. And let me tell you why that's huge. That's huge because a lot of those mod authors out there are sitting back waiting for 1.9 because they're thinking, why would I want to support 1.8.9 and rewrite all my junk when I'm going to have to rewrite all my junk again in a couple months when 1.9 comes out? Well, because we don't know how much it's going to change. We already know that there's a lot changed when it came to item rendering and, you know, how you define your blocks and your stuff, and they just don't want to do it again. Which is why we're not seeing a lot of technology in the 1.8.9 world. Why not? Because you know what, COFH, the guys that write thermodynamics, they don't want to rewrite it twice in the period of 6 months. It was hard enough for them to get up to 1.7.10. I mean, really, seriously. They're gonna hate me. No, I mean, you know what? Mod authors do this shit for free. They don't get paid. Alright, so, yeah. So maybe Curse has benefits. They give you a $10 Amazon card when you get a bunch of download. Yeah, I can feed my kids on that $10 Amazon card. No, these guys do this shit for free. Not only do they do this shit for free, they do it on their own time, and they probably all have jobs. So, you know, give them a little bit of a break. But at the same time, what happens is they end up having real lives. And then, you know, they get married, they get kids, they move on, they get a new job, they get noticed. So shit happens and they move on, and the problem is that the mod doesn't get updated. And then somebody, one of the up-and-coming mod developers, ends up taking over the mod and bringing it up to the latest version, you know? That's what happens. So, you know, stuff like that happens, and then the next version comes out, and guess what? That guy got noticed because he updated the last version of the mod, and now he's working for whoever and doesn't have the time to do it. So these guys do it for free. So give them a break. Don't troll their crap because they haven't updated to the latest version. So let's talk about where we are with 1.89 because we don't have a lot of technology, but we've had a lot of activity on Curse in the last week. There are some mods that have been updated tons of times, lots of bug fixes, lots of activity. You know, it's an up and coming mod, and one of them is this guy right here, which is Fancy Fluid Storage. These are Railcraft S tanks. These suckers are made out of any block. You make a 3x3, 5x5, 7x7, or optionally in your config, a 13x13 frame out of any material, and then glass, and all you need is then the FFS tank valve and a tank computer, and boom, you got yourself a fluid tank. Now, I can tell you that there are some downsides to this. Yes, it is cheap, big storage, but you know, it's they're leaky. Not only that, they're flammable. So talk about the other tech mod that's really big in 1.8.9 right now. Seeing a lot of updates, and let me tell you, when I say a lot of updates, these two mods are updating at least daily. They are super responsive. I've submitted a couple bugs. They are on top of the game right now. The other one is NeoTech. NeoTech is about the only complete automation mod you're going to get in 1.8.9 right now. You've got a crusher, right? Your ore duplication. You've got the electric crusher. You've got the electric furnace. You've got item pipes, energy pipes, and fluid pipes, and they all work through a stock standard interface pipe, so you can put them all on the same pipe network. You can control them really easily. Wrench. Everybody needs a wrench, right? Look, it's Ender IO item movement. Boom. Input, output. Yep, you got it. So, and not only that, they're cheap, right? They're not expensive to make. The biggest thing is if you're using the out-of-the-box recipes and you're not tweaking the recipes, your RF storage and some of your higher-end stuff is going to require you to take a trip into the nether, get some nether quartz. Other than that, this is all overworld stuff. We don't need ender pearls. We don't need to make crazy alloys out of ender and redstone and 3 layers of Ender IO. I'm talking to you. No, this is easy stuff. Now, they have a manual grinder, which is kind of akin to Applied Energistics, hand crank, where you put a pressure plate on top. I don't have one out here. And you jump up and down on it, and it grinds the ore for you. But you know what? Right there. But you know what? Let me tell you. Oh. Why do we need to do that when the crusher recipe is so damn cheap? You know, with NeoTech, you can have power and automation in minutes after you start your game. Now, yes, some people are going to say, hey, that's overpowered. Look, they're a new mod. They're out there. They want to get noticed. They're getting noticed. I noticed them. They're the only automation for 1.8.9. Of course I noticed them. All right, so we got, right, ore duplication, crusher, furnace, boom. Thermal binder, this is how you make your upgrades. It's really simple. Your upgrade, everything sits on a motherboard. You create a motherboard. You know what? They have fixed this in subsequent versions because the version, this is their UI, not happy when it comes to cheating in items. Of course, who cheats in items? Nobody cheats in items. You have a motherboard. You pull out a motherboard, create yourself some hard drive upgrades, create yourself some CPU upgrades, expansion upgrade, control upgrade. And if you want to know what that does to each of the machines, all you have to do is simply click on the machine. And it tells you over here, what does a processor upgrade do in this? What does a hard drive upgrade do here? What does a control upgrade give you? What does an expand? So what, you want to increase the energy stored in your machine by 10? No problem. All right, so you come into over to your thermal binder, you put in your motherboard, you add as many processor upgrades as you want, you add as many hard drive upgrades as you want. I think these stack up to 8. You add a control upgrade and expansion update, and you hit the start button, and voila, you have a filled motherboard. Now, once you fill this motherboard, that sucker don't come apart. It is what it is, you know. Of course, you can do some other mod to decraft it, but whatever. That may or may not work. You put that sucker up in your motherboard slot, and now your super duper machine is super duper on crack. That's right. So that's what you do with your thermal binder. We have a fluid generator. Right now, the only thing it supports is lava. However, it's got an easy config file. It's name of the liquid, RF per bucket. Easy peasy, right? You want to make RF out of water? Open up your config. That'll make it happen for you. All right. So we've got some automation. Pretty cool. They have energy storage cells. They've got solar panels. I love solar panels. So take a look at NeoTech. Good mod, good people, quick, fast bug responses, regular updates. They are somebody to pay attention to now. So let's talk about fancy fluid storage. The reason I wanted to talk about them is because we, what am I looking at is, or what are we looking at, is just all in the way here in this resolution. These guys are great, and these tanks are awesome, but these tanks leak and these tanks catch fire. So we can go ahead and pump ourselves up some lava. See, ooh. Now it's moving a little slow here because this is, of course, you know, these pipes take upgrades just like the machines. What in the hell happened to my wrench? You can add machine, you know, your upgrades here. You can, these pipes, I gotta tell you, with max upgrades, move just as fast as the Ender IO, Ender Fluid conduits. All right, you see the lava bouncing back and forth. We're going to change that. So this fluid only goes in one direction here. Otherwise, it's just not coming in fast enough, bouncing around. Oops. Blue, green. All right. So now, theoretically, our lava should not bounce around and bounce back and forth, but should just travel from one to the other. Now, if we increase that, the animation increases. Our lava is now going into a tank. This should now be feeding, yep, our fluid generator, which should be making power, which should be powering all our stuffs. Perfect. Fluid tank, awesome. I am putting lava in a fluid tank made out of wood. Who would have thunk? However, I guarantee you by the time we're done with this little spot here, this shit will be burning to the ground. It does leak. So you can make it out of, it doesn't work out of a block that is a container or a machine or a block that will mutate. You cannot make it out of dirt. Doesn't happen. But the sturdier the material, the less likely chance is that your stuff's gonna leak or burn to the ground. So, and they support, from what I understand now, they support open computers. Or not open computers, but computer craft. So you can do all your cool tank maintenance. So one of the other mods I want to talk about is EzStorage. EzStorage is utterly broken in my mind. And when I say utterly broken, I mean like, wow, overpowered. I love this. I probably want to tweak the recipes a bit and make them a little harder than what they are. But again, like I said, new mods, new mod developers, they make their first mod overpowered. Think about what Draconian Evolution was like a year and a half ago, right? Guy made a brilliant mod with some great like lore and gameplay, but came in utterly overpowered and has since balanced it and done a great job of balancing it. But you want to get noticed as a mod developer. You want the people to go, oh my god, right? So we come in here and we take a look, and let's see. We click on this, and what do we get? Oh my gosh. We have an AE style interface. We have 62 of 2,800 items that we can. They could be 2,800 of any item. Doesn't matter. Right? You could put 2,800 cobblestone in here, and they'll all show up in the stack. With add-ons, you can search. You got a crafting grid. It's killer. What's awesome about this is it will fit in. You can see our little setup here. As long as they're connected, it's kind of like a little network. We're good to go. We've got our crafting box. We got our search box. We've got our input port so we can take our automation out of here and directly pipe it in. Now the output port, I wish they would change it a little bit. I would like multiple output ports where I could set an output on a certain item and say always output X or always output Y. But right now, you put an output port on it, what it does is dump the entire inventory out. It's for transferring inventory between items. So let's take a look at the recipe on this, because this really is a little broken. So you need the storage core. It's your computer. You only get one of those. I do that all the time. One of those per network, and sticks around a chest, right? You want these. I think these handle 400 items per unit, but they're dirt cheap. They're chests around crates. You want the high-end one? No problem. Just get yourself some iron. You're good to go. Now, you want the hyper storage box, which I think stores 5,000 per block. Yeah, you might need another star, but whatever. I mean, you know, it's early game AE without the automation. How cool is that? Forget your first run house with the bajillion double chests or iron chests, because you can't afford that AE yet, because your crystals are still growing in the mud over somewhere. You know, whatever. You're good to go. Great interim early game storage system. So give these guys a look. What else do we got? We got hopper ducts. Hopper ducts are straightforward. Oop, we don't want to actually change it. We want to open it up. They basically are filtered hoppers. They'll take anything above them that matches the filter. Hopper ducts, they move single items. They move them down. What's great about them is they can move them up. Pretty straightforward mod, right? Awesome. We iron chests upgraded to 1.8.9. Then, of course, we got storage drawers. I'm not going to talk too much about storage drawers because probably everybody uses it, but they are now available in 1.8.9. Now, there are some new mods that have come out in the last couple of days that I am not going to talk about because I haven't had a chance to fully review them, but they will be in the next episode. But these are the new mods that have had a lot of activity in the last week in 1.8.9. Now, if you want your mod brought up, you want me to talk about your mod, just drop me a note. I will definitely take a look at it. I have looked at a lot of mods. There are simple mods that do nothing but change recipes. Not going to cover those. There are mods that, oh, hey, my mod lets you smelt leather out of rotten flesh. Well, you know what? Good for you, and thank you for writing a mod. And I'm really proud of your Java experience. However, sir, I can do that in my Mind Tweaker. Or whatever it is now. What do we call it now? It's not Mind Tweaker, but, I need a recipe added to do something like that on my mod pack. I put it in a config file. I don't need to download a whole new mod pack to add a recipe. One thing that is starting to come up is PAMs. Now, I'm really excited about PAMs because there's not a lot of food options in 1.8.9. And, having PAMs has a seed mod where, I don't know, geez, is it, oh, you know what, I'm creative. Hey, one last thing that I wanted to talk about. Feed the Beast, I love you. I want to have your children. You guys have finally gotten your Feed the Beast utilities up to 1.8.9. Yeah, that's right. We can now claim our blocks. Nobody come here. Nobody touchy here. Nobody breaky things here. Ha ha ha. And not only that, I'm an operator, so I can do 1,000 blocks. What? You want access to my world? No way. Yes, awesome. These blocks are now protected. They're owned by me. All your players can claim all of their chunks, and they can invite people in on a friend basis and configure that. We also have friends, we have messaging, we have all the fun stuff that comes along with Feed the Beast utilities. You want to create your own mod pack and you want to create a guide, no problem. Right? You want to see server stats, how many times have I died, here are all my admin commands. Do I want to, oh, hey, look, my enchantment IDs, my entities. Oh, all the fun stuff I need about the server to do my configs. Here are all my commands. Oh! Gonna look at a chunk. Oh, those are all my world edit commands. But still, hey, all right here so I can look. Pretty cool. Boom! Back to spawn. Back to the warp I just created. Oh, how I have missed that from the old days. Ugh. It's great for setting up spawn points on a map that you're creating. It's great. What somebody needs to do now is add something into that where when I can randomly, teleport. Players have random spawn points around the world. I wish that was possible. But hey, you know what? My lava shit hadn't burned down yet. They lied to me. I swear to God, I just spent 10 minutes redoing this thing. Am I missing glass? This stuff's filling up and I'm missing glass. Who knows? Anyway, give them a look. All right, we're going to take a look at some other stuff. We will be right back. Oh my gods, why are we in the nether? We're in the nether because we're back in 1.7.10, and we are looking at compact lava generators. There's already a spotlight on this. I'm not going to go into it, but how many times has your nether been totally depleted of lava and the lag it causes your server? No more. It's just stop it. Just stop it. Either tell your guys that they need to drop creative tanks for people to share lava, or go right to big reactors, or do lava generators. Now I gotta tell you, these things are pretty expensive. I'd much rather go with a big reactor. I think it generates more power, more benefit. The turbine's ungodly, but you know what? These things are a little expensive, but they generate mass amounts of power by just sitting over top of lava. And it's an open down here. It's a 3x3x4 block, hollow in the middle, pump in the center, pointing down. So you have two hollow blocks in the middle. Controller, you got these things called generators here. You've got your hatches, which is where the power comes out. Boom. At this price, though, they should be transmitting the power across dimensions. Let's take a look. What do we got? We got the generator control. Oh my god. Definitely pretty much end game here. Later end game. Totally, not total end game, but yep. Anyway, you know what? It's going to give you power without draining your nether, without causing lag on the server, and I mean, you know, you can do it in a single chunk. So, I mean, heck, even an endothermic pump, you put it out here and sure, you're changing your nether to stone one block at a time. I get it. It's cool because you're going to walk around the nether, but at the end of the day, you're still changing blocks. You still have to keep those chunks loaded that your endothermic pumps on. This you can put on a single spot chunk loader, load a single chunk, get this inside of it, and boom, you're done. So, nice mod. Not entirely new, however, it's been updated. It's all fresh. It works well. Definitely take a look at this. Definitely worthwhile. And it works with any power pack. So I mean, of course, this is on RF. Let's see. What do we actually generate in here? Let's take a look. What do we? Oh, gassed. We need to get out of here. Come on, get. And of course, it's dead. Yeah, you guys don't want to see me die. Come on. He keeps blowing up my portal. Stupid gas. Hi, I want a peaceful nether, please. Yeah, that's what I get for doing this without armor or without anything. Goodbye, Ghast. Alright, so compact magma. Very cool, very awesome, very lag-free. However, it's expensive. Alright, second mod for 1.7.10 that's brand new. 1.4s are not new, but, you know, actually I think it is new, is, geez, I don't know, this is weird. This is called Elio's Elevators. Let me see if I'm pronouncing that. Elrol's GUI Elevator. Now, what makes this, and I'm gonna kill one of these blocks here. That noise is driving me crazy. What's great about his elevators is they're pretty cheap, but they've got an interactive GUI. So any place you place an elevator, and by the way, it works in the direction the ender eye is pointing here. Anywhere above you that you place a elevator, it knows, it talks to the ones above it, and it'll tell you the number of floors. So you can see I got one right above here. We can click floor 2. Look. Pretty awesome, huh? Alright. And it's cheap. What do we got? 1 ender pearl. Anyway, who doesn't accidentally kill an enderman in the first 20 minutes of play anyway? Or at least it was like maybe an ender mini. So, pretty affordable, pretty good. And it works well once you figure out how to get them aligned right. So let's go up to the 3rd floor and talk about the last thing for 1.710 that I want to cover this week. Like I said, just touching, just new stuff. You guys have all seen this before. You know what this is, right? It's Mekanism. It's a windmill. One of my favorite power generations out there are windmills. Why is it so cool? Because I'm doing this through a curse profile. Yes, shh. Shh, don't tell anybody. Oh, wait. Somebody forked Mekanism and put it on curse. Now, God knows if it's going to stay there, but right now, it's forked and it's on curse, and you can put it in your own profile on curse. Before, Mekanism has always kind of been, let's take a look. See, well, let's switch over here. Can I do that? No, I can't do that. All right, go take a look at Curse. Mekanism, forked Mekanism is now in there, and of course they don't generate a lot of power. Everybody knows Mekanism. God, we can't even begin to talk about all the cool stuff that Mekanism does. Digital miners, robots, all sorts of fun stuff. Doubling, tripling, even does it still do quadrupling of ores? Yeah, crazy stuff. Mekanism is a fun tech mod, but it's now available in Curse Profile. So that's what we're covering with 1.7.10. There's a lot of other new stuff that's changed. I just don't have time to cover it all, but I think that this gives you a good idea of 3 new mods that are available via your Curse client. So take a look. All right, I'm going to take a look at a community spotlight here, and we're going to talk about the streamer NonSanity, because NonSanity is truly insane. Do you see this? This is a Twitter post he made back on the 23rd of January. That's not a Galacticraft planet. No. That is his own planet he made. And let me tell you how hard that is. First off, he's using anti-blocks, so he made a bajillion of them. He took Galacticraft to outer space. He set up a drone swarm using Pneumaticraft drones. Got all his material up and airlifted it into outer space. It's easier done than said, I think there. But what's not easy is he programmed this thing to make a giant ass sphere and made his own planet. Made his own planet. Yeah. That's an epic build. Hats off to NonSanity. Check out NonSanity on Twitter. Check out NonSanity on YouTube. The guy's a good technical builder. He's awesome. He does some fun stuff. Right now, he is currently live streaming FTOG Infinity Evolved in expert mode, which is the ultimate grind. If you've ever seen grinds, it's Greg Tech on crack. It's hard, and it definitely. I don't think it's something where he's going to be putting together his little 1-hour episodes. He is just live streaming 2, 3, 4 hours at a time while he tries to catch up to his friends who are days ahead of him because he was a little late joining. But definitely give NonSanity a look and check out his stuff, because the dude does some amazing builds. I would say that some of his videos are responsible for me understanding AE2 to the depth that I do. He has some amazing AE2 instructional videos out on YouTube that talk about how to use some of the P2Ps and maximizing your AE2 system. I did not understand P2P tunnels to the level at which I did and how they worked until I watched his videos. So definitely check this guy out, and he's our community spotlight for the week. All right, guys, thanks for sticking with me. If you really are sticking with me and you haven't bailed by now, last spot of the day, of the week. We're going to talk a little bit about automation. This is the 3rd time I've made this video because I've been warped twice in the last 10 minutes. I'm now carrying around soap. I put my warp ward on. We'll see if it lasts for this whole video. I want to talk a little bit about parallel processing, because if you think about things the way that your beginning automation guy is going to set down, he wants his ore duplication, he's going to set down his crusher, his grinder, his whatever he needs as the first process, and he's going to hook it up to whatever his furnace is or his smelter is as the second process, and he's going to run that in series. And when he runs that in series, it's fine early game when you just have 1 or 2 of them and you're mining yourself. Now, get to end game where you need lots of material quickly, and you're running maybe 2 ender quarries, max power because you got the big reactor, and you're running it with max speed upgrade, and that shit can produce some ore, let me tell you. I mean, it's scanning 100 blocks a second or some crazy thing like that. So what do? You run things in parallel. And to run things in parallel, I do something like this. You do whatever you want to. You can have multiple chains of, grinders and furnaces, or do whatever you want. But so what I do is I put an item buffer up here. The reason I put an item buffer at the top is because I get more exposure to the sides to import items through an export bus from my AE2 system. So if we take a look at this, this is just set to push out any copper that comes in, any of the nether ores that come in, boom, they get pushed into this box. This box pushes it down into this chest, and then the IO and these sag mills are set to pull from the chest. So what happens is, if this guy's working on grinding a half a stack of copper, any other copper that shows up inside of here that's the same type, he's sucking in to fill his input stack. This guy's working on iron, same thing. We're not going to have iron, iron, iron. Each one of these is going to do 3 at a time. And with, you know, if you've ever seen these guys run with their upgrades, and I don't worry about the extras, but you put in the capacitor, boom, boom, that sucker's awesome. Parallel processing. So we've got 3 machines all taking stuff from the one import, and what do they do with them? They push them around back into the alloy smelters. So each grinder has its own alloy smelter, which is set to, that one was doing something. I didn't know my core was actually active, but it'd get pushed into their own alloy smelter, which push it back into an item buffer. All 3 of these push into the same item buffer, so I have one import bus taking the end results and pulling them in. What are you working on? You've got some iron coming in somewhere. So, parallel processing. I want to show you another example of parallel processing and why when you're thinking builds, you need to think parallel processing. This is my AE2 room. So we're going to take a look at how parallel processing improves the speed. And I'm not going to show you a demo because it's going to take too long. But these are my modular assemblers. They do the crafting. I've got ME interfaces hooked up to them, so this is all a functioning assembly here. So let's go back up and take a look, because I can craft bedrockium and make a bedrockium drum in minutes. And tip of the hat to NonSanity, if you ever come across this video, yes, I did model my AE2 room after yours. Why? Because it looks cool. My building looks different, but my setup was very similar because I thought that was one of the coolest AE2 rooms ever. So we're going to take a look real quick at the interface terminal. And we're going to see that down here towards the bottom, I've pushed out compressed cobblestone to many assemblers. I've pushed out double compressed to not quite as many, to 4. I think I've got it going like 8, 4, 2, 1 for the quadruple. So let's actually go ahead and kick off a job. Now this takes a massive CPU. Go to the crafting CPU, crafting terminal here, and let's go to a bedrock. Instead of crafting the actual drum, because that'll take forever, let's just do one bedrock unit. So we need 29,000 cobblestone in stock, no problem. We got to craft 32,400 compressed, 350 double compressed, which rely on these, 40 triple compressed, which rely on these, and 4 quadruple, which rely on these. Right? Hello? Try doing that in a single assembler with a single interface. You can come back next week and it might be done. So, what do? You run them in parallel. And it kind of flies. So let's go over and take a look, because what's more fun than watching it? Look, we got multiple units working on compressed cobble, and the doubles happening so fast. There's a double, I think. But it doesn't take too long at all. Now, I could also, if I wanted to, use up slots, but I mean, I don't want to use up that many. How often am I making bedrockium ingots? Not all that often. So, you know, so I got to wait 10 minutes to make a bedrockium drum. It's not that difficult. Oh, there you are. What are you doing? This was, remember, this was up to what, 2,900? All right. Bedrockium done. parallel processing. So when you're working on automation, think parallel. Think, things don't happen fast enough. You want bigger builds, faster builds. Everybody wants bigger. Everybody wants faster. Parallel processing, definitely the way to go. Thank you very much for listening to this weekly broadcast. I know that sometimes I'm insane, sometimes I'm boring, sometimes I'm so not funny, even though I think I am. But thank you very much, and I look forward to talking to you again next week. This is the Brewing Coder, and I am Addy.